Right, at the same time, we know that more than 14,000 inmates at prisons across the country will also be voting tomorrow. Let's get some reaction there. Deputy Minister of Correctional Services, Inkosi Phathekile Holomisa, joins us now for a conversation on prisoners registered as voters in the National and Provincial Elections. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Perhaps let's talk about your level of preparedness. Are you ready for inmates to make their mark tomorrow?
Yes, we are ready to facilitate the voting by our inmates, especially those who registered in accordance with the law and the directives of the IEC. The IEC itself has assured us that they are ready to perform their task of ensuring that this aspect of human rights is also enjoyed by the inmates in accordance with the law and the protocols to which we are signatories that allow certain rights to be enjoyed by people, even though in incarceration.
What processes did you follow as a department with the IEC to ensure that all logistical aspects of the voting process are indeed meticulously planned and well executed?
Well, first of all, we ensured that we communicated with the inmates and tried to communicate with their relatives that they must ensure that they have their identity documents so that they can register, and that those who are already registered are going to participate in the elections which are now taking place tomorrow. The IEC has been doing all that it has to do in the same way, more or less, as it prepares for elections by ordinary law-abiding citizens outside of our correctional centers.
You make reference to ensuring that you speak to the families to ensure that the inmates have their identity documents with them. Would you say that was one challenge that you encountered? Because I would have imagined that the numbers would be much, much higher on a national scale than 14,000 inmates who are making their mark.
Yes, just like every citizen makes sure that they get all the documentation that is required for them to enjoy their right, in this case, the right to vote for a government of your choice. It is their responsibility, the inmates, as well as their relatives, to ensure that they make the necessary preparations. So we communicated with the inmate in the first place, with the inmates that they must inform their families. But a number of them, they are not very much in contact with their relatives. Their relatives, some of them are very happy that they are in incarceration because of what they've done. But a number of them, of course, even when they joined our centers, upon being convicted and sentenced to stay with us, they don't have identity documents. We give them registration numbers when they get into our centers. Of course, those who were keen to get these identity documents when the registration process was in place, we collaborated with the Department of Home Affairs to ensure that they make themselves available to provide identity documents for those who are in our centers.
Yeah. What about some of the teething logistics? I mean, let's say an inmate who registered as voters before being incarcerated, or maybe a person who on election day is in prison, but their name happens to appear in a different district. What happens? How do you handle that?
Well, the specific piece of legislation in that regard provides that an inmate who has been registered in a particular district, now when election day comes, you find that he is not in the district where he was registered, then that person is considered to be eligible to vote in the center where he is, in the province or district where his correctional center is located. So if you are in Bloemfontein and you appear in a register, the voters register shows you to be in Mthatha, then you'll be able to vote accordingly in Bloemfontein using all the 3 ballot papers to ensure that you exercise that right to vote.
And very lastly, before we let you go, what measures have you put in place to ensure that eligible inmates can indeed cast their votes in a secure and transparent manner?
Yes, we know that our correctional centers are security establishments, and therefore all the standard operating procedures are followed to ensure that no single inmate is either denied their right to vote by one means or the other, or that an inmate tries to escape. Everything that is necessary to ensure the safety and security of the officials of the IEC, officials of the department, the inmates themselves. All those measures have been put in place. We are confident that nothing untoward is going to happen.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time there. Let's leave it there for now. Of course, that was Deputy Minister of Correctional Services, Inkosi Phathekile Holomisa, saying it's all systems go insofar as inmates are concerned when it comes to making their mark come Wednesday.